Good morning, everyone. So, I got the new car. Not too shabby. Problem is, everything is good on it, right? This is a salvage title. Everything is good on it. Even got lucky, and before they crashed it, they put brand spanking new everything down there. Still shiny. That wasn't my uncle putting that on. New hood. He's pretty good with paint. But the problem is cat owner. So I gotta shampoo this whole dang thing. So that's what we're gonna do part of the day. Of course, I always got more junk to get rid of. But yeah, $4,000. I drove at a dealership the exact same car, the exact same miles, didn't drive nearly as well, and had a tranny leak for $18,000. I know it's not a Lex, but sometimes it is who you know, not what you know. Oh, here's what we're gonna use. Here's what I like to use. I like to get me some kind of multi-purpose interior cleaner. That is shampoo for this little green monster. Right there. And I like using shop towels. They're like paper towels, but tough. So what we do is grab a bucket, and the nice thing, the saving grace here is, since I already cleaned the loaner van yesterday, is generally you gather everything and put it in the bucket. But we'll go step by step a little bit, just in case you've never really shampooed or detailed a car. First things first, windows. I generally do windows first. I don't know if you're supposed to or not. Glass cleaner, bam. I generally get that little top area too. First layers, usually pretty gunky. This is actually pretty clean. I might not even have to do the windows, that'd be kind of nice. That is pretty clean. But I might do them just to get any funky smell residue off of there. Now usually, if this stuff was real funky, dirt and grime and grease, I would just use a spray bottle with Dawn and water in it. Nothing special. I'll just cut that grime out. Right now we're just using this. This should do just fine. Some of that junk out of there. Get in the crevices. Alright, hit the dash too. Now generally, I would like take a little brush and vacuum and brush it through there just a little. But we're not going that hard. I'm just trying to get the smell out. This van is pretty clean actually, especially considering the smell. And I know the auction house didn't do it, and my uncle didn't do it. They might have vacuumed it out, but what do you do? Even my daughter got in this morning and was like, it smells. I'm like, I know. And then we'll vacuum. It's pretty clean down there too. But we're gonna be doing some shampooing, so you gotta get all the little stuff up so you don't clog up the works. Not looking too shabby. But yeah, there's no pet hair or nothing in here, so I don't know if they were just taking their cat to the vet or something, and the cat attacked their face, got in an accident, and then shit itself. But there's no fur or nothing. Who knows? Maybe it was just some old towel that they cleaned some piss up with and forgot about it. Anyways, so there's this stuff that my uncle told me about car industry. I found it kind of interesting. See if that works for setup. So, according to my uncle, who eats, sleeps, and shits this stuff, so he said, yeah, the auto insurance places are kind of in cahoots with the dealerships, and they're like, because this is a salvage title, and apparently they're salvaging everything because they know people don't like buying salvage titles. I think insurance goes up a hair, and just the idea that it's been in an accident. Oh, we've had plenty of brand new cars that go kaputs all the time, or brand new used cars that are on paper totally legit, but like, oh, for some reason all the suspension and steering goes out all the time, like it's got a bent frame. So, and he was telling me this, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And I tried to add to it before this whole the era of COVID hit. I was waiting for some, every 10 years there's a cycle economically, kind of a money grab and a land grab, but it's just a cycle where you're supposed to go into a pretty good recession just because of the Ponzi scheme of everything. And obviously the housing bubble didn't pop this time like back in '08, but all the indicators were there. And one of the indicators was something that I don't even know how I found it, but because before COVID hit, you could just feel it in the air. Something was gonna happen. I'll get back to my insurance thing in a minute, but I remember me and the wife, we were in a really nice apartment. Now granted, and she made the decision to move back to her mom's because we're getting a second kid. She needed a new car. Rental was gonna shoot through the roof and all this stuff, and they didn't tell you. They're like, oh, rent's gonna go up. Well, how much? And they wouldn't tell us. That could be 50 or 200 bucks. Like, you don't know. Oh, I gotta talk to the company that owns the place. Blah, blah, blah. You could just feel something coming, or I could. And then anyways, we moved back to her mom's house, the one that burnt down, and then all of a sudden, this is like maybe 2 months, 3 months before COVID hit, and right around that conference where they role-played COVID in the huge meeting with all the corporate bosses. Anyways, her Health East 401k started plummeting. Poof, like, I think 40 grand. All of a sudden, she looked at her thing and 40 grand was gone. And I was like, Jaja, you either pull it out right now or just leave it in. Don't wait another month and think about it, because she likes to just wait on everything. She's late on everything. And I made her repeat it like 3 times. I'm like, you either pull it out right like tomorrow before, because you're gonna lose more. And then anyways, she waited a month, 40 more grand gone, and then she pulled it. And then it was at that point, and this is still pre-COVID era, I'm like, yeah, they're grabbing money, something's coming. And I still didn't know what it was. And anyways, but I think it was at that time, one of the indicators, as a sneaky one, was new car sales. Now inflation hadn't hit yet, but new car sales had been going down 7% per year for the prior 5 years. That's a pretty big indicator of the financial situation. So that's just a little tidbit, excuse me, on that. Car's looking good. Still got a lot of work, still got to shampoo it. And then the guy that can't make up his mind called me in to got the materials so I can start working on his site today. And I'll bring you in that, doing some ceramic floor tiles. I believe I found the culprit. The seat forward. What is that? Some old onions or something. I don't know why it smells like cat, but that's probably what it is. Obviously, still gotta clean the thing. I'm gonna clean it and get it set up for work and kids and everything, car seats, blah blah blah. But that's probably what it was. Alrighty then. Where's my drill? Time to shampoo. We've already. Hold on here. We've already vacuumed, wiped everything down, found the culprit. But still got it. I mean, this thing was in an accident. So, airbags get deployed, dust, the airbags being deployed, dust kind of gets everywhere, all that stuff. So, got kids in here. I'm gonna dirty the hell out of this anyways with work, but the kids are gonna throw food everywhere and whatnot, but we're still gonna get her done. Usually my stepdad would do this part, but he's, like I said, got that surgery I just undertook. So I'm just gonna spray it. Then I spin brush it. Then I spray it with just normal water, just to have something for it to cling to and suck up. And then I just suck it up with the same vacuum. It's got a little sucker on there for carpet. You just really gets down in there. Like so. I'm just giving you the show piece right now. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing. I'll get a little more water. Usually you let it sit for a little bit, but this will be fine. Smell will be gone. So no matter how clean you think it is, ew, that's a lot of somebody else's funk. All the dust and mites and germs. Ugh. Alright, we are done with the clean. And then, of course, I had to load it up with a bunch of household junk and bring that to the dump. The reason I didn't do the dump first is because today is going to hit like 100 degrees, so I'd rather... the junk's easy. It was already in a pile. And I'm going to be working in this truck anyways, so I just lay down a sheet and a mat in the back. Easier to just flip the sheet than to vacuum it all the time. Just a couple little things though when you're cleaning. That obviously wasn't a detail clean job. Did get the smell out though. And I'm glad I did it myself. For one, you save like $180, but you also catch little things like I found the source of a big part of the stanky smell. But there was a cat in here. As I started spin brushing everything, I did see some more hair, but I think it was just an under the seat cat. It would just go under the seat, the two front seats. Because when I got rid of that funky bag of old onions or whatever it was, the smell kind of went away. I know, spraying chemicals and whatnot. But then when I was shampooing the foot area in the front, I got down there and I got a big whiff of it. So the cat was sitting right under the chair. So I just cleaned that up a little extra and smell gone. That's something that if you brought it into a professional who's doing it all day, might have just either said F it or just missed it altogether. And then you spend all that money, get your car back, and it still stinks because it missed that one little hidden spot. Also, I gotta check this is almost a clone of the Town and Country I had, even though this is a Grand Caravan. But I gotta check the cabin filter. There might be one in here. It's behind the glove compartment. You just snap it off, and if there is a filter, it's right up in there. And if your car's ever stinking, that's the first thing you really want to check. He said the Town and Country didn't have one at all. It was just a free-flowing system. Another thing, I guess, is you do not spin brush leather like I was doing to all this fabric. You don't even use the same chemicals. You go to your local auto, and I forgot the name of the stuff I used last time. It was in a purple bottle, specifically, I guess, more for leather. I don't know if it said leather on it, but what it is if you remember or saw the episode yesterday, I was talking about body pH balance, acidic versus alkaline, bases and acids. Now, most of your cleaners are pretty acidic. Just think citrus cleaners. Citrus is very acidy. The leather don't like that very much. It wants an alkaline cleaner. And I've used it before. I've used it before on Jaja's car. She had some pop explode in the back, and she was going to take it in. And I'm like, why are you taking it in? Because her car is pretty spotless and brand new anyways. Like, they're going to charge you like $100 or so, and who knows if they're even going to get it out. And it's pretty easy. I'll do it for whatever, $80 or something. And you just get the spray. You spray it on the leather. You take a little soft brush and you swirl it into a foam on there. You just wipe it off. And the stuff takes out old pop gooey stuff, so it works. You just got to buy another product, you know. It's all about the tools. That's kind of the cool thing people don't think about when you're doing DIY or handyman stuff all the time. You kind of have to use a lot of different senses, I guess. You're always smelling. Is there a gas leak, or where's that smell coming from, or whatever? You're always listening. You're always feeling stuff. Is this rough, soft, wet, whatever? You're always senses. You're doing a lot of MacGyver action. You don't always have everything you need. You just need to do this one little thing, and you just look around. What do I got? Oh, I forgot my hammer. I don't want to go back to the store and pay $20 for a hammer. Give me a freaking piece of twine, a stick, and a rock. I got 2 nails. That's it. Whatever. It'll take me 2 minutes. Just stuff like that. I don't know. I get a kick out of it. Now I got to get to the bank. Pay my uncle off the rest of the money. I didn't have to take a loan on it, but I'm waiting on some other money, so it's getting a little tight. But we'll make it. That is part of the tithing thing that I was talking about the other day. The only thing you're not supposed to test God. You're not supposed to be like, hey, if you do this, then you're real or whatever. But the one thing, and it sounds like a ploy for the church, but the one thing he does test you on, or says you can test him on, is your tithe. So you trust me with where your heart is. Usually it's money. You know where your heart is wherever your money goes. But trust me with your money, and I will show you. And I never believed it. And it's 10%. I mean, if you make $1,000 in a week, you got to give them $100. That's not easy to do. And even when I understood the concept, I still didn't want to do it. I do it now, though, religiously, and it works. You don't want to do it. I do it even when I've already, you get your check in your pocket. Even when you're broke and you know it's already spent on bills, you just send it anyways. And somehow, some way, it all just comes through anyways. I don't even worry about it anymore. Even when I'm like hitting like red line on my bank balance and stuff, something always pops up. Whether it's work or some weird government check or whatever it is, it always seems to work out just fine. Alright, we're at the bank.